Well, people may say that Kinnick Stadium is where top 5 teams go to die, but
Goonies never say die.
and on that note, a quick comment about last week that was brought to my attention. I said that 4 out of the 5 last top 5 teams to go to Kinnick Stadium had lost, when in fact it was 5 of the last 6. Thanks, Colin, for catching that correction. Slow and steady won the race Saturday, and Michigan played smart and clean football, and that is how you beat a team like Iowa. And now they got over that hurdle, so can everybody relax now? Saturday was actually the first game the Iowa defense didn't come up with a turnover since their season opener against South Dakota State. And can we take a moment of appreciation for the Michigan offensive line? They have been doing great, not only in pass protection, but especially in the running game. They have been able to push at the line of scrimmage and create great opportunities for the running backs. Speaking of which, Corum and Edwards both did a great job. Love seeing Edwards back on the field. It just makes Michigan that much more dangerous. The Michigan defense did well against Iowa, and they had a couple drives where there was room for improvement. But at the end of the game, when they needed to stuff the Iowa offense, Morris and Hawkeyes stepped up big time. Corum was as reliable as ever. Edwards did a great job. Bell had the first touchdown of the day, and McCarthy just played good football. I think, honestly, one of the best things that I saw from him on Saturday was when there was a 3rd down and he rolled out for a pass. Instead of forcing the ball down the field, he ran for it, probably knowing he wasn't going to get the first down, but he just created a better opportunity for Robbins to be able to set up the punt to get the ball into Iowa territory. Those types of things, field position, being smart and being safe, are the way that you beat a team like Iowa. Now, were there opportunities for improvement? Absolutely. But they were definitely not as critical as we have seen in the past several weeks for the Michigan Wolverines. Honestly, the biggest red flag that I took away from the day was the coaching, specifically offensive play calling. After Iowa scored their touchdown, Michigan had 2 drives of 3 and out, and the offensive play calling was nothing spectacular. The most notable play was on a 3rd and 1 when the whole world knew that Michigan wanted to run Corum. So instead of getting a little creative and even trying an edge rush or doing a play action pass to try to get the first down, it was just straight up the middle, right into a wall of Hawkeye defenders. Now, this by all means is not the first time that we've seen Michigan get conservative, especially on the offensive play calling. But similar to last year, I'm just hoping that Michigan progresses throughout the year, because that can be concerning against different opponents on Michigan's schedule. Now, they did win the game, so I can't complain too much, but I won't overlook the horrible calls that went against Iowa during this game. Granted, 2 of them really didn't have much impact because one was on a 4th down and they turned over the ball to Michigan anyways. And then the other was on a scoring drive for Iowa where they wound up getting 7 points out of it all the same. But a lot of those calls, if they went against Michigan, I would have lost my mind. So in a relatively close game, even though the score doesn't show it, if a couple things had changed, it could have been very different at the end of the game. Let's also not forget to mention probably the scariest part of the game when there was a fumble deep in Michigan territory, but Edwards was able to jump on it and make sure the Iowa defense didn't get their hands on it. That right there could have been huge, because even though Iowa went down on their next offensive possession and scored a touchdown, if Michigan turned over the ball to the defense, that would have been a huge momentum changer. And that is what Iowa lives on. Speaking of momentum, did you all check out what Petrus did there in the second half? It was like Iowa was a completely different team once Petrus got going. And that's what I warned about last week. When he gets rolling, the offense gets going, and they can get quite dangerous. And if that Iowa team had been playing the entirety of the game, it probably would have been a lot closer at the end. All in all, great job, Wolverines. It was a great game to watch, and I love seeing the progress from this team, both offensively and defensively. Now, Michigan hits the road this coming weekend against Indiana. Definitely a team not to overlook, but we'll talk more about that with our preview episode coming up next time. So until then, go Blue.